Introducing PubCoin. PubCoin is the rewards program for pub sports contributors. Regular chat contributors share their play of the day, POD, in the YouTube chat, including the phrase POD in their message. At the end of the week, the amount of units earned are converted into PubCoins. PubCoin can be used as reward points for prizes, shop discounts, and contests.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Mills here, Pub Sports Radio. Do you guys want to challenge the personalities here at Pub Sports Radio? Do you guys think you're better than them at entering in your MMA predictions and picks? Would you want to get paid for it? $100? Here's how you do it, man. You sign up right here at the link below. It's just this easy. PubSportsRadio.com. Enter your email. Pick your weekly picks. That's it. Oh, and you get bonus points if you can predict how they're going to win in what round. Every single week, a new winner's getting crowned. So every Saturday on Pub Sports Radio. So come on and check us out. You can win $100 just for signing up. Only thing you need to do is see if you can beat us here at Pub Sports Radio by entering your UFC predictions and picks weekly. Do it. I dare you. See you guys soon.
Your membership to Gold, you will be automatically entered in every horse race, every Wednesday and Friday. It is time to race horses. We are racing camels today.
Shout out to the Gold members. We're racing in San Antonio immediately here. And we're off. 2 minutes, 74 canals on this racetrack. It's wide. We're racing in San Antonio.
Matt Wally moving forwardly. Jeff Slaughter in the mix as well. And as is Randall Sheffield, who's put that beautiful nose out front.
But it's actually real grass here, Jimmy. Maybe Kentucky bluegrass. Oldie, no! There he goes. There he goes. Oldie in the lead now. K. Wolf falls back. The horses love it. Sometimes they stop and eat it on the way to the finish line. That's why your horses start so far in the back. Here, oh, look at Nussflush Allen bursting out here. J-Dub in the mix. Rude Boy up here as well. Jimmy, take it away.
There's Oldie. Oldie is moving to the front. We are past the halfway mark in our 2 mile. And there's Ricky Levy.
Oh my goodness, he's in the mix here. Jimmy, take it home. This is our first dog race ever.
19 seconds left in the horse race here. It's Fernando Mendoza trying to find the wire. 14 seconds left. Can Fernando Mendoza take this home? Here comes Kenny Kengan. Kenny Kengan wants a piece of the pie. Put his schnoz up front. Ricky Bobby, 9 seconds left. Can Donut Silks make a run? Can Res Mall make a run to be $50?
You son of a bitch!
Here comes Tori Coker. Kenny Kengan, Smoke and Mirrors, Director 97 home. That is great. Here comes Jason Meyer, the other custodian. Billy Friedrich, Joe's one of all coming down the finish.
Coin! Fired! Nowhere!
Oh no! Fanatical Jim!
Get 'em, Jimmy, where Loshak at? The bottle's getting empty, I'm the Kraken, we stacking. Chips, all of this, what I want, plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone, I prefer elevated Pub Sports Radio. Time to get educated, who can produce, fade the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call the truth. They get slaughtered, can't forget Jeff and Low Baggers in the chat. That's a little weapon, cause we need, oh yeah, pubbing. We be pubbing!
Yeah, I love that intro song. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Pub Sports Radio. My name is Peter Loshak, Jose Bouquett behind the scenes on the ones and twos, and he'll be dropping in all show, I'm sure. Comment section. We do this every Tuesday. Today is October 29th. Tuesday, October 29th. We got everything. We got the World Series. We got NHL, we got NBA, we got college football, we got college basketball coming up, we got Halloween coming up, we got an election coming up, we got Thanksgiving coming up, we got Christmas and New Year's coming up. Then we got 2025 coming up, and then 2026, and then the 2030s. It's a great time to be alive, everyone. My name is Peter Loshak. I think we have limited time with Gokster once again. So, but that's how life is. You know what I mean? You can't be attached to anything if you can help it, including Mr. Gokster's NHL analysis, because it's only here for a short while. And sometimes, you're expecting something to be longer than it actually is. Sometimes you're Jimi Hendrix, all those people died at 27. Mr. Gokster's NHL analysis ends at 11:30 Eastern time.
What's going on, fellas? How you doing?
All right, Mr. Gokster, that was a nice intro. You ready to jump into this? What time? If we only have 7 games to cover, so I think we can have a nice, calm but brisk pace. What time do you have to leave technically, officially?
So every day going forward, Pete, it's going to be 11:30. So we got a half an hour to cap the game.
Okay. Let's get into it then. Let's look at the comment section very, very quickly. I'll look at what people post in the comment section after Gokster, after we've touched on every single game. Yeah. Okay. That's it for right now. Let's go. Let's get into it. Let me bring up my I was all chilled out, Mr. Gokster. For once, I'm not rushing here. I think we'll be good. 7 games. That's nothing. Lightweight. All right. Let's start. You ready, Gogi? First game, Philly-Boston. You ready?
Let's do it.
Philly-Boston. Philly overall a crappy team right now. What's going on? Of course, Torts is their coach. And how does that affect them, and in what ways? They're not going to lose every game, right? So my sense is that probably when they're a big dog, maybe you want to think about betting on them. I mean, bad character teams tend to be overvalued, but they'll get their wins here and there. Now Philly's a big dog here against Boston, who has also been an underwhelming team. Not necessarily a bad character team, but definitely an overvalued and overrated team. At least as of right now. They are coming off of an OT win as a small dog at home to Toronto. And I don't know, it feels like Boston should not be this big of a fave against anyone. At the same time, it feels like Philly should not be bet on against anyone unless you're getting one of those plus 300 lines. I don't know. What's your take on this one? Boston like a close to minus 200 favorite, Gogi.
Yeah, I got nothing on this one, Pete. Erson, Swayman going. The goaltending has really been the issue, I think, with Philadelphia. We keep saying 4 goals, 5-6, 4-3-6, 4-6. They haven't allowed more than 4 or at least 3 goals against in the last 2 weeks. So going up against the Bruins team, it's tough because when the Philly team is healthy, they're not that bad. They got a couple young players. They're not the greatest, obviously. Boston coming off 3 losses, finally got the win against Toronto. But again, kind of a hit or miss. Swayman, Pete, didn't have a lot of playing in the preseason, so his numbers are 3-2 at home right now. 884, 3.18 goals against. The power play stats too. They're advantage of Flyers right now. Home road stats, small sample size. You always say, Pete. 30% though for the Flyers, 13% for the Bruins power play, then 86% penalty kill to 79%. That's in favor for the Flyers again. So. First period could possibly be a good spot to take the Flyers here. They've won 1 game in pretty much the last 2 weeks. They have been scrappy. They lost 4-3 against Montreal, 7-5 win against Minnesota. Before that, kind of were getting beat up on, but they're a healthy team. They got York out, but offensively, Pete, I would say first period, if you want to take the Flyers, that's where I would look. Full game will be tough to beat Boston at home, but the first period, that's where I would look. It's a no play for me, but anyone in the chat wants some action here, I'd be looking at the Flyers the first period, Pistol.
Yeah, I mean, you're saying that the issue with the Flyers is their health. I feel like it's just the program in general with Torts, right? I mean, some people have a great read on him and know what to do, when to fade him, when to bet on him, but he's obviously a very idiosyncratic, unique kind of coach. Probably gets, less out of his team than he should considering some of his parts, but that seems to be the big issue here with Philly, right?
Yeah, they don't get a lot of momentum. You don't see Philly get a lot of 3-4 games, under their belt wins. It's tough for them to string wins together. Now, underdog spot, you're right, Peter, but plus 175. Are they going to win? It's gonna be tough. But the first period, when you got a team that's not playing well, more likely than not, it's the first period they're going to come out really strong, and you're getting a juicy dog price. Power play, penalty kill has been decent on the road. It's their special teams pistol is fine. It's actually above average in my opinion. It's just the goals against is problematic. So it's tough for the Flyers because Ersin, he hasn't had a lot of starts. And then the other goalie they have there, Fedorov, I can't even pronounce his name, but he's fresh from Russia. So that's their issue is goaltending.
It's just very weird. They haven't hit, I didn't even realize this, they haven't hit 30 shots on goal in their last 6 games. And it's not because they got a new core of players. They're returning everyone from last year.
That's very surprising to not get 30 shots on net.
Yeah.
That could be the style. That's going back to the coaching then. It's always a hard-nosed kind of style from Tortorella. That's, dump and chase kind of, from my knowledge from watching hockey as long as I have. It's dump and chase with Tortorella positioning. It's not so much set plays, I want to say, with this team. And a lower scoring game could be in the works, but
yeah,
it's tough to trust the Flyers for the full 60 minutes. That's a good point, though. If you're not getting many shots on net, it's going to be tough to beat a team like the Bruins at home. So, but the first period, I could see them being up like 8-4 shots on net, have a good first, but then again, putting the full 60 minutes together, that's been the problem with the Flyers. So,
right. Okay, we have the spreadsheet play of the day. It's St. Louis. We will talk about that in a second.
Okay.
Rem Mo says, isn't there any other NHL capper with a landline that could give us more than 30 minutes? Of course. But do they have the panache of Mr. Gokster? There's the rub. That's the tough one. Of course. If we could easily replace the panache of Mr. Gokster, we would have done it a long time ago. But we can't, so he holds all the cards. You know what I mean? Whatever he says goes, because he has the charisma and the panache. All right. Yeah, I'd be leaning under. I'd be leaning Philly, but it's going to be a pass for me officially. Let's move on. Next game on the card, Seattle-Montreal. Montreal a home dog here. Seattle, 3 straight home losses, but all against good teams as a dog. They started the year well, right? Then they played 3 home games against good teams. They were dogging all of them, lost them all, but they're clearly a quality team. If they were a dog, I'd bet them here, but they're a pretty significant favorite on the road at Montreal. Montreal off of 2 nice wins. They started the year badly, but 2 nice dog wins. So the question here is how good is Seattle and how good is Montreal? That's the basic handicapping question you want to ask. I was thinking about, at the very least, maybe Montreal team total over as a dog. I don't know if I would bet them to get the win over Seattle, because Seattle is, it feels like they're a decent team right now, coming off of the 3 straight home losses. Now they're going up against a weaker team. But I'm thinking that Montreal has a little bit of life to them, and I was thinking about leaning, Montreal team total over. What do you have on this one, Gogi?
This is what I was really looking at, and I'm firing on Seattle here. I think regulation Seattle plus 110, Pete. This Montreal team, they won 4-3 against Philly back-to-back, and then St. Louis the game before 5-2. But before that, they were not exactly playing good hockey. And then Seattle, if I have a team that's lost 3 games in a row at home, now they're going on the road against a Montreal team that's okay for the most part, in my opinion. You got Vince Dunn out on the back end, but the injuries are more prevalent for the Canadiens, in my opinion. Pete Gooley, Sledkovsky, Reinbacher. Now, there's been word that Sledkovsky and Gooley have been skating this morning, so even if they're going to be in, I'm still pretty high on the Seattle team. The penalty kill has been really strong from Montreal of late, but this is a game where, if you guys know hockey fans, Pete, this guy Shane Wright from Kingston Frontenacs, he was drafted 4th overall when he wasn't drafted by Montreal. If you guys remember, he stared down this Montreal team, was not too happy with them. Maybe he just said it was nothing, but this is going to be the first time he's going back up against Montreal. Look out for this guy to have a good game. Now, his shots on goal is only 1.5 at minus 125. He hasn't exactly his shots on goal. He's had, let's just go back to this here. So he's had 1 the last game, 0-2, 0-1. But this is a spot, Pete, where he's going to be hungry. This is a game I'm pretty high on Shane Wright and a team coming off these 3 losses. Montembeault has been okay, 3-3 at home, 914 save percentage between the pipes. Then Decord, Pete, he's 2-0 on the road. The 2 wins that the Kraken do have are with Decord and net. I expect him to be coming off those losses. The first period, I wanted to fire in the first period, but again, the line's like minus 135 or something, minus 140. Didn't want to take the minus 0.5 for the goal, but if you do want to take that, guys, Seattle first period is more likely than not live, but I think the full 60 minutes here. Montreal has been playing okay, but I like to see them win 3 games in a row against a team. Yeah, you could say they're struggling, but they're missing Vince Dunn, who is important, but offensively, Pete, this is a team that I think is better than Montreal, and the injuries too. Barron's also day-to-day for Montreal, so I think Seattle's got a good spot to win this. So Shane Wright over 1.5, minus 125 shots on goal, and then Seattle regulation plus 110.
Well, I'm not going to add the Shane Wright shot prop to my official pick record, but I will probably tail that one, Gogi. Ron Crawford liking the Habs here, and that's what I was thinking as well. Leaning Montreal and leaning over. I don't really want to fade Seattle, but at the line, I couldn't not take Montreal. I haven't bet it yet, but now it's up to plus like 150. So the line clearly is headed in Seattle's direction. Yeah, and I was thinking about the Montreal team total, but you don't like the Montreal team total over because why?
The total, I had a tough time figuring out this total. I was going to do both teams to score in the first period here. My worry would be Montreal. I just expect a really good game out of Seattle here. 85% penalty kill, 2 on the road, 12% power play. I expect that to get better. But there's no real outliers. Yeah, they've lost the 3 games. The Cord's 2-0. They're coming off those 3 losses. And if I had to pull up the Cord stats, I guarantee he's lost those 3 games they've lost. He was probably in net for at least 2 of them. Bounce back spot is in play. Yeah, Montreal's playing well, but the team total over 2.5, Pete. I know I'm humming and hawing on it.
Sure.
Nah, I would. Yeah, that's a tough one. Depending on the line, if it's 2.5, I wouldn't want to go any more than like minus 125
right
on it. But I think Seattle will get right, score at least 3 goals, and just out battle this team tonight.
All right. I'll probably make Montreal an official play, but let's move on. Next one, here we go. St. Louis, Ottawa. St. Louis as a dog is the Ron Crawford spreadsheet play of the day. Huge shout out to Ron Crawford. Yeah, he's just rocking and rolling every single day until Judgment Day. St. Louis off a road loss at Montreal, but they've been winning a bit more than losing so far this year, and just a solid, decent team so far. Ottawa back home after a West Coast trip. They played decently on that trip. They've overall been decent so far. So, these are 2 teams that have a little bit of life to them. I'm kind of looking to bet on both of them. St. Louis getting a dog line is what I was leaning towards. I was actually leaning towards the St. Louis team total over, not to bet them to win the game, but the team total over. And I think I will make that an official play because Ottawa, they've been getting it done with offense. Their defense has been iffy. At some point, they might be able to fix that, but I'm not sure that I want to time that. They got a first-year coach, work in progress, offense good, defense not so great. I would agree with Ron Crawford on St. Louis as a dog, and I think I'm going to make the St. Louis team total over an official play. What do you think, Gogi?
Yeah, I like St. Louis here, guys. They're coming off a 3-game road trip to Ottawa Senators out west. First game back, didn't look too good. They're starting to get the injury bug starting to hit this team too. Shane Pinto, we had a little update from the beat writers here. No Pinto, no Perron, and no Zub. So they're missing some key players. They're calling up some guys from Belleville where I am. Ospachuk, he's a good centerman, but again, it's going to be his first time playing with these guys with Amadio and Gregor. The Gaudette, McEwen, and Cousins, not exactly the greatest line. This St. Louis team coming off the loss, they're playing really good hockey too. Now, Robert Thomas, that doesn't help that looks like he's going to be out of the lineup, but I'm going to take St. Louis guys in the first period here. I think they can get him in the first. That's plus 130 pistol. I like that. The team total over, though, my issue there is Allmark is going to get the start tonight, and then he's, a small sample size, but he's 1-0 at home with the 969 save percentage, 1 goal against. You expect him to have a bounce back because he had a game, he played over – what was it here? Give me a second. He played in Vegas, allowed 5 goals. And then the game against Colorado, their backup, I think it was Forsberg. He got pulled. He came in for 2, just made 2 saves in that game. But yeah, at home, that was against Florida, guys. 3-1 win against Florida. Good hockey team. Now he's got the Blues. That's why I didn't take the team total over, Pete. I think first period, St. Louis is pretty hungry after that loss against Montreal. Mm-hmm. And then you got Ottawa coming over from the West Coast 3-game road trip. And they got some injuries and a new look team, new look through bottom 2 lines too. So I think St. Louis, I wouldn't talk anyone off the full game, but it could be a lower scoring game tonight.
All right. I'm gonna when you're gone, I'll decide on my official plays. But yeah, I'm leaning St. Louis first period goal for St. Louis, and still the team total over. But that's so you're thinking that Allmark is good and a little bit salty, huh?
Yeah, exactly. And their lineup, I don't think Ottawa is going to be their lineup doesn't scream offense. It screams it's not. It feels like a lower scoring game.
Right. Okay, and then let's move on. Next game, Anaheim Islanders. Islanders a huge favorite here, of course. Anaheim is going to be a huge dog against most teams, mostly crappy. They're on a New York trip. They lost both of their games, both as a huge dog. Although the first one was close. And in their last game, they won the first period, and then they got shellacked in the second period. But, in general, Anaheim has played kind of close as a huge dog all year long. Just look at their game log, and you can see it. So, and the Islanders, it's obviously they're off a home loss to Florida, so it's obviously a bounce back spot here for them, and they should be able to do it. But it's just so hard to lay like a -240 line with the Islanders against anyone. I was thinking about an under, maybe the Anaheim team total under, maybe Islanders race to 2, because the Islanders have started out games very well, and then late they've been losing. So the main thing I was thinking about here was like Islanders race to 2. What's your take on this one?
The under is kind of where I was looking in this game, Pete. The Ducks, they haven't looked good, like you said. Where are we here? Yeah, 2 losses against the Devils and the Rangers, who are good teams. Only teams they beat this year, San Jose twice, and then they beat Utah 5-4. Looking at Dostal, he's actually got a .946 save percentage on the road, Pete, dude. It's really good. 3 games, though. They're completely healthy, the Ducks. Oh, this is when I'm a little I took the no goal in the first 10 minutes. My only worry would be is if the Ducks come out, they're going to have a strong effort here, in my opinion. 2 losses on the road. Yeah. Is this their last? This is then they got one more against Pittsburgh on Thursday. I'm still going to take the no goal in the first 10 minutes. Islanders coming off a loss 6-3. Very Jekyll and Hyde, win-loss. But this doesn't feel like a game where the offense, I don't see a lot of offense here. 0% power play too, Pete, from the Ducks. They haven't scored a power play goal on the road yet. But listen to this. This is the worst numbers I've ever seen this far into the season. 33% penalty kill for the Islanders at home. It's a small sample size, but they have a 33% penalty kill, Pete, at home. So if they're going to get right, it's against a team that has not scored on the power play this year, and the Ducks team that's only beat up against weaker teams like San Jose and Utah. So it feels like a lower scoring game. There's also a back-to-back tomorrow for the Islanders. They play at Columbus, so could be a look ahead for I wouldn't say a look ahead, but it just feels like a lower scoring game. So I am going to take no goal first 10 minutes plus 130. But I don't mind the full game under 5.5 plus money. I don't mind that.
I am going to take the full game under as an official play. I'll do it right now. And of course, I'm going to do the safe thing. I'll take under 6.5 -150 where I'm looking right now. I'll see if I can get a better line somewhere else. I'll line shop, but we'll keep a brisk pace, so I won't line shop while we're doing this. But I will take the under at. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Sweaty Butcher's here. Just saying what up.
Oh, huge shout out to Sweaty Butcher. All right, yeah, I'm going to take under on a 6.5 -150, and yeah, I guess I don't know. What's your take on the Islanders? They're not a very inspiring team as a big favorite, are they?
No, they're not. But this feels like a spot where they play Columbus too, who's been more scrappy, a scrappy team that's going to be on the road. Sorokin too, he's 0-1. He hasn't looked the greatest. This is just a spot I expect the Islanders to. This shouldn't be 4-3 game should not even be in the question here. It should be like a 2-1, 3-2 game. It should be. I would be very surprised if this game gets out of control, especially coming off that 6-3 loss to a tough Florida team. So, yeah, look for a lower scoring game here tonight.
Yeah, I'm also thinking about the Anaheim team total under 2.5 at just -140. You think that? Quick take on that? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't mind. I got to see more of the Islanders. They're 3-5. Both these teams are 3-5. Sorokin, I am high. Sorokin, Pete, he was a really good goalie, and then all of a sudden when Patrick Waugh came over, he hasn't been responding the same way. Ducks are a little bit desperate.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know. I would stay off it as the 60 minutes go on. I want to see how both these teams respond, but I would expect the Islanders to play tight, but the Ducks are going to give them a tough game tonight.
Yeah. All right. You're right. And I hate it when I make a bet that looks great the whole, in NHL, the whole game, and then like a fluky, third goal from Anaheim late. And I'm like, all right, I shouldn't have done that. All right. Next game on the card, Minnesota, Pittsburgh. Here we go. Suspicious line of the day, I guess. Minnesota off a super high scoring loss at Philly after 5 straight great road games. They won 4 in a row. The other one was an OT loss against a great team. So Minnesota playing great. And the Pens, 5 straight losses, just kind of they've been just bad. They've just been bad on defense all year long. So why is Pittsburgh such a small home dog here? Classic situation. You see it all the time in NHL, in sports betting. A bad team as a home dog, a suspiciously low home dog. What do you think? Is Minnesota a great play here or total trap?
Well, this tells me there's going to be goals in this game, Pete. The volatility, as they used to say, is going to be high here. I think there'll be a lot of goals. Blomqvist, a guy who's first time in the NHL this year. He's 1-1-1 at home, 909 save percentage. Nettles had to come in. He's not going to be starting. And from what I'm seeing, it's going to be Blomqvist. So going to be tough for him against the Wild. Spurgeon's day-to-day. Hartman's out. They're coming off that loss, though, the Wild, after looking really good, especially defensively, looking really strong defensively. But Fleury's going to be in net too. He has the start here. They're actually going to start him against his old team. They didn't do it last year when they played. So the Flower will be playing, and I think it's his last year. So big game for him. 1 win on the road already, 923 save percentage, 2 goals against. Pittsburgh, though, they're as desperate as all hell. They're allowing a lot of goals. I don't see that really changing against a Wild team that really likes to push the pace. So I'm going both teams to score, Pete, in the first period here. Mm-hmm. Plus 150. Expect there to be fireworks kind of the whole game, back and forth. Power play, penalty kill, special teams advantage for the Wild. But again, whenever you got desperate teams here in that line too, like you said, minus 120, why would a team be favored after 5 losses, allowing 4 goals or more? And then Minnesota's look the opposite, strong defensively, winning games, scoring goals. So I'm going to stay off the side here, but I think there'll be I expect there to be some goals here back and forth. It'll be tough for Fleury, even though you might think, Fleury's coming home. He'll get the win here tonight. It's just a spot where Pittsburgh, and looking at their injuries here quickly, Rust is day-to-day. They want to get him back, and then Lazat's out. But older team, going to go with the goals early. Don't know how this game's going to ponder out as the game goes on, but expect there to be some goals tonight.
Yeah, and it was like around plus 110 earlier. Now it's down to like 104, 105. So headed down even further in favor of Pittsburgh. All right, next game on the card, Rangers and Washington. Rangers a pretty decent-sized road favorite against Washington, who's been playing great, right? Rangers mostly winning. Their last game was against Anaheim, though, at home. Huge home fave. They just won it 2-1. But Washington's been mostly winning as well. They're off a shutout loss at Tampa Bay. And, it's so hard to bet against the Rangers, but it's also really hard to bet against Washington as a pretty decent-sized home dog. What, you got anything on this one, Gogi?
It's a tough game for me to cap here, Pete. It's looking like Logan Thompson's going to be starting. They've been going back and forth with Thompson and Lindgren. So Thompson is 3-0 this year. He's had nice three wins. I think they're all at home. But both these teams are playing really well. Health-wise, VC's out. Roy has been skating for the Capitals defenseman. Penalty kills here, 85, 81%. It's a tough game to cap, really, Pete. I would expect to be a lower scoring game. Thompson's the real question. It's really Thompson here, because I expect Shesterkin to look. He's been fine. This is a big game, too. Ovechkin going up against Shesterkin, two of the bigger Russian players in the NHL. But the thing with Washington is they're led by just really strong young players here. Connor McMichael, Scarbosa centering the third line here. Where's the other guy here? Lafreniere, he must be out right now. I don't see Lafreniere. But anyway, in this game, I would expect it to be a lower scoring game. Chychrun's on the first line, too, with Carlson. Big acquisition for this team. Sandin's playing better. They got Faravari on the third. Going to be a tough game. What's the line, Pete?
For this game?
Yeah, like sidewise.
Yeah, well, it was the Rangers were like it's like minus 150.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a big line, man.
Yeah, that's a big line. I would lean towards a lower scoring game here. Could even be an overtime kind of game here. Maybe first period draw as well. Expected to be kind of a back and forth. No one really gets a big lead in this game. Should be a 1-goal game, I would say, in this one.
Yeah, I mean, the Rangers are great, but are they that much better than Washington? Maybe they are. This is why you're here, Gogi.
I'm looking at the line.
With your 30-minute bullshit.
I'm looking at the line too, and where's Lafreniere here? This Hendrix Lafreniere, he's a good player for Washington. I'm not seeing him in the lineup, which is you don't like that. They got Jacob Verana, Andrew Mangiapane, good acquisition. Dowd, Rangers here quickly. Here we got a couple more minutes. Quickly, Rangers. The last game's a dud, really. Anyway, Kings and Sharks. Good win from the Sharks the last night, unbelievable. But quickly here, Rangers. Carrick centering the last line. Hito, Will Cooley, Capo. I would say lower scoring game. That feels about right
Yeah.
here, Pete. I would say lower scoring game.
I was leaning under as well, and I might take that one. I might even dare to take the Rangers team. I don't know. All right, let's just move on. The last game on the card is LA and San Jose. Of course, LA a huge road favorite. San Jose, I actually ran out of time. I didn't even look at this game. So you got anything to say on this one, Mr. Gokster?
Well, the big win, first win of the night last night. They were down. I don't know what it was. I went to bed and a 5-4 win. Back-to-back, though. Vanacek's going to be in net. Kemper's going to be starting tonight. It's also back-to-back for the Kings. They play Vegas tomorrow. It feels like an under game, Pete. It really does. If Kemper's going to get right, it's probably going to be against the Sharks on a back-to-back, coming off their first win. Again, the Kings play tomorrow night against Vegas. I erased this one, but the under first period it seems right here. I would expect to be a lower scoring game, even first 10 minutes. Not as no goal in the first 10 minutes here. Celebrini's still out. Deladondra. The under feels about right here. If Kemper allows more than 3 goals here against the Sharks, who are on a back-to-back, he should go back to the AHL. He really should. So.
Yeah, I was, San Jose, of course, a terrible team off of a back-to-back, road OT loss. You're thinking that's an automatic fade spot. If you do that, now you're taking an NHL road favorite of like minus 300 or whatever. It's just so scary.
And Kemper's got an .890 save percentage, almost 4 goals against on the road, who has not looked very good on the road. You would think he can get right tonight, but do you want to lay that much? Exactly.
All right, well, when we let Gogi go, I'll maybe add on some official plays. The only one I made official so far, Anaheim Islanders under 6.5, minus 150. Gogi, please review all your official plays if you don't mind.
All righty, guys. We're on Shane Wright tonight. Montreal, Seattle over 1.5 shots on goal, minus 125. Seattle regulation, plus 110. St. Louis first period money line, plus 130. No goal in the first 10 minutes in the Ducks and Islander game, plus 130 as well. And another plus money, plus 150. First period, both teams to score, and the Wild and the Penguins tonight to close out the card.
All right, Mr. Gokster, thanks so much for being with us. Oh, we got 2 more minutes. You wanna shoot the shit for a couple minutes while I decide what I do for my official plays? We got you till 11:30 Eastern time. Oh, you got less than a minute now.
Sure. Wait, when you say that, I go right to the AHL. So we got some AHL games, 3 of them: Iowa, Chicago, San Diego, Calgary. Calgary over San Diego would feel like one if you want to add in a parlay. They're at home. San Diego's been a dud all year. And then Tucson and Abbotsford at 10 o'clock. I'd stay off that one. But Calgary Wranglers tonight, Pete, over the San Diego Gulls for AHL action. They look about right tonight. I have them in a parlay. I like it.
All right, maybe I'll tail that. Who knows? Thanks so much, Mr. Gokster. All right, we can let you go now.
You good, guys?
All right, thanks so much. All right, so once again, the Ron Crawford spreadsheet play of the day is St. Louis, which makes a lot of sense. All right, I got to decide if I want to add on. We're going so friggin' fast that I'm not able to line chop. I'm not able to decide what I want to do. But, the leans I'm definitely thinking about: St. Louis team total over and the first period as well. Montreal team total over, even though Mr. Gokster wasn't too excited about that one. Anaheim team total, but I'm going to pass on that one. And probably leaning, maybe the Penguins team total over against Fleury. That's probably not a high line. Maybe I'll add that one on right now. And then, I'm thinking about the Caps as a dog, although look at this. Someone said Rangers layup. Who said that? Rangers layup. Yeah, Andrew G. Another layup for Rangies. I don't know. Yeah, it's very hard, scary, maybe impossible to bet against the Rangers right now. Gorjan Goki Ninkovsky likes the Rangers and the Kings on the money line. Joey B says Loshak looks like the corrupt sports agent for Gogi. Thank you great look today, Pete. Thank you very much, Joey B. Yeah, this jacket doubles. I can use it as international, like Eastern European criminal, as well as corrupt sports agent. Thank you very much for noticing, Joey B. What else do we have here? Christopher Carter talking about the Yanks team total over. All right. Thank you, Christopher Carter. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Maybe I'll just stick with the one official play for right now. Gorjan Goki Ninkovsky giving us a EuroLeague basketball play. I'm just looking for what people are saying here. Anyone saying anything? Yeah, it is a very brisk pace we have to do with with Mr. Ghoster. Jose Bouquett, you want to come in? Jose? We got Brizzy, right, for NBA, right? Is he ready, or do you want to
No,
chat
he's
for a
ready
couple
for
minutes?
us.
He's ready?
Yep.
All right, let's do it. Let's bring in, we got 4 NBA games on the card. Everyone, welcome to the show, Brizzy, Billy Brisbane. Brizzy.
How
you doing? That was a great show we did last week. Let's see if we can come close to it. You know what I mean? Hard to do that every friggin' show.
Yeah, but I like this card. Tuesdays usually one of the cards that I like a lot in the NBA.
I'm glad that you're here to talk about this because there's a few things that seem kind of obvious to me on today's card, but maybe there's something I'm not seeing. And if it's something I'm not seeing, you can definitely clue me in. Let's start with Denver Nets, right? This is one of those games. Denver, right? 0-3 ATS. They played yesterday off an OT win at Toronto, but they lost ATS. They've clearly been overvalued so far. Nets have been pretty good ATS so far. They're not a great team, which is why they're getting a dog line here. But the Denver played starters a lot. I know the starters are good, but the Nets as a dog, it seems very obvious that they would be a great play here. Unless I'm missing something, you tell me, Brizzy.
It hasn't been a good start for the Denver Nuggets as fans have expected this season. Obviously, some serious offensive concerns. Malone has done a good job of kind of packaging everything together here in last night's game, because I definitely thought they were going to lose to Toronto going into overtime versus a wounded Raptors roster who's projected to be one of the worst teams in the league. But I don't know, man. Jordy Fernandez, he got the best of the Nets roster over the weekend as they got their first win of the season over Milwaukee over the weekend. They're going to be without Ben Simmons for this one. That should make the offensive game environment better. Denver last season, they swept the season series versus Brooklyn, winning straight up and ATS in all those games. But both of those games were played in the month of December. Schroeder and Thomas are going to have to pick up the offensive scoring here for Brooklyn tonight. Schroeder's coming off a 29-point game over the weekend. He had 5 3-pointers in that game. Situationally, I don't think this is the best spot for Denver, but they are having a lot of problems on offense to back them right now. Brooklyn's dealing with some injury concerns themselves. They're on a front end of a back-to-back. They play tomorrow as well. The under has hit in each of the Nets' last 6 games as a home underdog versus an opponent on the second leg of a back-to-back. But the play that I like in this one, fuck the spread. We're going straight to the player prop section again here. Christian Braun over 15.5 points, rebounds, and assists, -120 here at ESPN Bet. Tweeted this one out yesterday. Cashed straight off the points. He had 17 points last night's game. They're going to have to go to the young gun here, man. He's gone over his PRA line in each of his games this season, averaging 21 points and rebounds, filling in that KC role perfectly. 3rd in the team in points right now and 4th in the team in rebounds right now. He's seen 29-plus minutes in each game, averaging 6+ field goal attempts, averaging about 10 a game. The Nets are giving up the 2nd most rebounds to forwards, and on the second end of a back-to-back in a game that I went into overtime, I expect the youngest player in the Nuggets rotation to get a lot of minutes tonight. Christian Braun's this is going to get bumped. By the time this game starts tonight, this line's going to go to 18.5. So I like Christian Braun, points, rebounds, and assists here, -120 at ESPN Bet here.
All right. That's a great thing to look at, Brizzy. And I'm looking at, now it was 5.5, the Nets. Now it's down to 4.5. Now you do see a lot of U-shaped movement, so we'll see where this closes. Wouldn't all be surprised if it closes at 6.5. But Fernando Mendoza, liking the T-Wolves, -4.5. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said McElvey got +7 shots. I'm Justin. I'm going to jack up the name. It's first time saying it. Justin got +7 and Timberwolves action. So shouts to Justin out there in the chat. Sweaty Butcher's got a nice little stat. Home dogs.
Yeah, look at that.
Are 2-12 ATS going back to last year. 0-2 ATS this season. I'm sorry, Justin. Whenever we link up for Pubapalooza, I owe you 2 drinks and a blood.
All right, I'm going to do something here. I was also leaning under at like 217.5, 218. It's gotten bet up. Again, we'll see where it closes. The first half total is, significantly higher than 50% of the of the full game total. So I don't like to do this, but I'm going to take it. I'm going to take a shot with the first half under. Denver Nets, first half under, 113.5, minus 111. I'll shop around to see if I can get something better. But you have any thoughts at all on the total on this one? If not, that's totally fine.
I would not bet a total in this game. I would just stick to the player props. We take Ben Simmons off the court, Cam Thomas and Dennis Schroeder's usage are going to go up. I mean, Dennis Schroeder just came off a 29-point game, had 5 3-pointers. His PRA line's only 23.5. I mean, that seems really fucking low. Cam Thomas has never seen a shot he doesn't like. I feel more confident in the specific player prop overs, like Christian Braun. Like, the Nuggets are really only playing 6 players. They can't really play Russell Westbrook that much because he isn't going to score and he isn't playing defense. So they're going to have to just play Christian Braun 40 minutes. Jokic is probably going to get a double-double or near a triple-double. Like, I would lean towards the player props in this game. Honestly, like, the more and more that you look into this game, I feel like the usage is very predictable here in this game more than the actual, like, spread. Like, I get it. Denver's on. They're not going to have a back-to-back. But 4.5 points, they could fuck around and win this game by 6, and nobody would.
Sure. Yeah.
Low line. Like, I would line this game at like 8, 9.5. Like, the Brooklyn Nets are not a good basketball team. They lost every game straight up in ATS when they played against them last year. I don't know. It's just I don't want to put American hard-earned dollars on the Denver Nuggets basketball spread, but I will gladly bet the players that contribute towards the roster.
All right. I'm just saying, like they just beat Milwaukee at home by double digits as almost a double-digit home dog. Simmons wasn't that important in that game.
No, but the concern would be this. If Brooklyn just didn't score well, would you be shocked?
No, right. Okay. I'll do what I was going to do. I'm going to take the first half under. I'm actually seeing 113.5 minus 105 at a different major book. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to mention it, but yeah, there we go. Denver Nets, first half under, 113.5 minus 105. That's an official play. Brizzy, in the Braun over 15.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And yeah, I mean, in general, the prop markets can be much more beatable. Lower limits, but much more beatable. So we love. I mean, NHL. That's what I do. So
make sure you go to ESPN Bet. ESPN Bet has the best line. I mean, Christian Braun's points, rebounds, and assists. This is the craziest shit I've ever seen, Pete. How do you post someone's player prop line for the next day if the game's not even over for the game that we're watching right now? That's just a bad line. He had 17 points last night.
They probably like it's a loss leader. Yeah, I don't know. Chosen One likes the T-Wolves minus 5. All right, so let's get into the next game. You ready? Let's get into that one. You ready, Brizzy?
Yes, right.
Dallas, Minnesota. Okay. Dallas, also on a back-to-back. So they've been so far. They played and won yesterday. Minnesota lost to the Lakers in that opening game. They've been pretty good since then. Too big of a favorite in their last game, so they didn't cover, but they won it comfortably. And, of course, this is a revenge game for Minnesota. In theory, Dallas eliminated them from the playoffs this year in May. So revenge spot for Minnesota, but you're given 5.5 points or whatever it is, 5 or 5.5 points to a very good team that is off a back-to-back. I was thinking, gotta like Minnesota here, but maybe 5.5 is way too much. What do you think, Brizzy?
Yeah, we got our Western Conference Finals rematch from a year ago, and the Timberwolves will be definitely foaming at the mouth for this one after losing the Western Conference Finals last year 4-1 to the Mavericks. They're on the second end of a back-to-back for them as well. Last year's playoffs was a little bit different from the regular season results where Minnesota won 3 of the 4 games. I think the edge is going to be here in the second units. Minnesota definitely upgraded their scoring options since the last time that they met. The Mavericks bench was only able to score 9 points versus Minnesota, and I feel like Minnesota with DiVincenzo and Nasri coming off the bench and throughout the first 3 games of the season, they've only been allowing 108.7 points per game. Last season, Minnesota was ranked top defensive efficiency team in the NBA, 23rd in pace of play. And with them being at home with the rest advantage, I kind of expect Minnesota to control the pace in this one. Both teams don't mind this being a defensive slugfest. I kind of lean towards the under. Under Dallas Mavericks team total under 108.5. I mean, Minnesota's That's right at the number that they're allowing this year is 108.7. And I would lean towards Minnesota on the spread, but I would feel a little bit more comfortable in I don't know. It's a coin toss. Like I didn't make this one official on my card today, but I'm stuck between Dallas Mavericks team total under or Minnesota minus the 4. I would want to pay. I don't know why, but I would just want to pay for that little just the hook. I mean, if we're betting and we're gambling, I don't want to be burnt by a fucking hook or some bullshit and some Vegas random fuckery at a 7:30 basketball game. So I would want the 4. Can't you see this game finishing at like Minnesota winning at like 5? This closes at like 5.5, 6.
I can see anything. I can see 50 different outcomes of this game, Brizzy, to be perfectly honest here. Yeah, the line has moved down, though. You know, it was 5.5 earlier. Now it's down to 5. And, you know, in the comments section, we have people pretty strongly on both sides. BJ likes NBA best bet T-Wolves minus 3.5. Justin McElvey likes T-Wolves minus 4.5. And then you got Chase J. I like Dallas to win. They own Minnesota.
I mean, the only thing I would say is team total under, man. I like the unders here in this one. Unfortunately, it's not sexy. It's not even that confident. This is probably a better live betting game. That's not probably what the chat would say. But let's keep it real. This is probably a better live betting game where Minnesota is probably down at halftime, and then we don't see the situational spot really play until the second half.
Right. Or if they're up by 20, which is unlikely but possible, then I might take them on the second half as well. We'll see. But I Need Money says it's a Julius Randle type of night. He always plays well against Dallas. What do you think about that? Julius Randle props?
Not for me, man. Not for me. Not a Julius Randle type of guy.
Okay. Chase J. Dallas is a road dog is cash per last year. Robert Franklin likes Dallas plus 5. And yeah, I agree with what you said about live betting. I'm not going to take anything pregame, but I will be looking at it and maybe acting at halftime or betting it live. All right, let's move on. Next game on the card, Sacramento, Utah. Sacramento on a back-to-back, pushed as a big home favorite last night. They've played pretty close to their spreads this year so far. Utah also on a back-to-back. You know, they were at Dallas. That's who Dallas beat. They lost straight up, but they covered. So Utah is, you know, a crappy team that might have one of those straight up ATS dog dichotomies, at least for a while heading into the season. Taylor Hendricks, that's an injury for Utah. That wasn't good for them. He'll be out. That was a tough on-court injury. I was thinking, you know, total was 234.5 when I looked at it. I was thinking that the under might be a great bet. Wasn't quite seeing why it should be that high, but maybe you can tell me why.
Yeah, I actually like the over in this one. It's been a tough season for Utah for the early going of the first week of the season. They're 0-3 to start off the season, the worst organization start in history since the 2013-14 season, where they lost the first 8 games of the season. The low light of the season really came in last night in the third quarter when second-year starter Taylor Hendricks broke his leg, fracturing his fibula and dislocating his ankle all in the same play. Those situations either destroy a team or inspire a team to step up. I think they're going to step up. 6 different Jazz players scored in double digits last night in their loss versus Dallas. Their core has definitely played better. Sexton led the way with 23 points. Markkanen and Keontae George both had 17, and Kessler had a double-double as well. Utah's outing on Monday, they played a lot more competitive than their blowout loss on Friday, 127-86 against Golden State. Sacramento's had a slow start to the season. They lost every preseason game in their first 3 regular season games, and their first win came last night. Their offenses seemed to get back on track. Fox became the 5th player in Kings history to reach 10,000 points last night. DeRozan's had a good great offensive season as well. He scored at least 23 points in each of his first 3 games as a King. Sabonis was back on triple-double watch last night. He had 16, 13, and 7 in last night's game. He had a triple-double on Saturday. Sacramento swept the 3-game series last season, taking 3 of 4 games in the 2022-2023 season. But something gives me a feeling after what happened last night, we're going to get the best performance offensively from Utah Jazz this season, both teams on the second half of a back-to-back in altitude. I think this is going to create a great game environment to bet and over. Utah's allowed 126 points per game throughout the first week of the season. That's the worst in the NBA. They're allowing 39% from the three-point line, which is the worst in the NBA. Sacramento's ranks 5th in pace of play. Utah ranks 3rd in pace of play. Both teams like to shoot early in the shot clock and run the floor. I think this is going to be a track meet. This might be one of the totals that we're going to see this week.
Yeah. Meantime, the line has moved in Sacramento's favor. Now, again, that's just as of 11:45 a.m. Eastern time. Could be a completely different story by tip, but now up to 6.5, Brizzy.
I think Sacramento wins this game outright. And when they win this game outright, I think that's the reason why. Not Sacramento. I think Utah wins this game outright. And if Utah wins this game outright, this game's going to go over.
And here we go. Sweaty Butcher. Home dogs off a loss are 8-3 ATS this season. All right. I'll probably look at this for live betting as well. I'll make one official play here to start. Utah first half plus 3.5 minus 108. Utah first half plus 3.5 minus 108. If they're way down at the half, I will probably be looking at betting them at halftime. We'll see, but I'll make that official. Utah first half plus 3.5 minus 108. Brizzy's leaning over.
Right. I bet the over, sent out the over last night. This is one of the first plays that I bet on this card.
Wow.
Utah is one of the worst defensive teams in basketball for like the last 8 months, like last half of last season, the first part of the season. Both teams are playing on a second half of a back-to-back in altitude. Sacramento, I think it's 3 games and 4 nights. Utah Jazz just had one of the most gruesome injuries ever in NBA history. Like, they're about to snap the fuck out tonight. And I would not be shocked if they hang up a big score. There's going to be a lot of points scored in this game. If you look at the totals between today and tomorrow, this is the highest total between today and tomorrow for a reason. Like, there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game. And I feel like if there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game, it's probably Utah winning this game outright. Like, for this total to hit, Utah's going to have to score. And that's probably the reason why people are betting the under, because they think that Utah can't score. I think Utah wins this game outright, so I think this game goes over.
Well, Ava pointing out totals 230 and higher have been good going under, and anytime you have a game with a total over 230, there's a good argument that can be made for why it'll be high scoring. But Ava, he says Utah pace of game very slow. I would take under. I was leaning that way as well, Brizzy. I don't know, Brizzy. Go ahead.
Pace of play this season, and Sacramento's 5th.
I'm just going to stick with Utah first half spread, but I'll be looking carefully at how this game turns out. Ava liking the under, Brizzy liking the over, and Robert Franklin liking Sacramento full game minus 5.5, and Justin McElvey also liking the over. There you go. Wow. All right, let's move on to the final game on the card. Another interesting one: New Orleans against Golden State. Of course, no Curry for the Warriors. Golden State 2 big road wins and covers, and then last game when Curry got injured, straight up loss as a 9-point home fave. Pelicans, a little hard for me to get a read on. Right now, it's the first of a home at home back-to-back for these two teams. So, most NBA games confuse me. This one in particular confuses me. I got no bets that I'm even thinking about, Brizzy. Are you going to pass on this? Something you're liking here?
This is going to be a front end of a home back-to-back for the Warriors taking on the Pelicans. So these two teams play again in Golden State tomorrow as well. So the Warriors are going to be without Curry for this one. They went 3-5 last season without Curry. And to be honest with you, those wins are kind of bullshit. They beat the Spurs and the Utah Jazz twice, which kind of does give me some concerns coming into this game. The Pelicans were the 4th best ATS team on the road last season, going 25-17-1 ATS and 25-15-1 ATS after a loss last season. My problem with backing the Pelicans here is their inconsistent offensive numbers. They're missing Trey Murphy and DeJounte Murray tremendously. They've only scored 105 and 103 points in their last 2 games. The Warriors have attacked the basket at a league high rate this year. The biggest area of weakness for the Pelicans this year has been their rim protection without Joe Val on the team this year. And I besides Zion, I can't even name you. Messi's been their other center that they've been playing, the rookie. Not my most confident game on the card, but with this being a home-to-home back-to-back, I think there's going to be more value on game 2. I lean towards the under here. You take Curry off the floor. I think the offense is going to run a little bit different with the pace of play wise. If the Pelicans don't clean up some of their turnover problems, I think they could lose it. Them losing this game would not shock me the slightest. Like, everyone's going to bet the Pelicans. They Curry's out. But, like, they play again tomorrow. Primetime game, I would probably lean towards Zion over 6.5 rebounds, but nothing really stands out to me too much in this game. This is more of a find out type of game.
Yeah,
but if
right.
the props that I like in this game have all gotten juice. Like Buddy Hield's 3-point prop tonight's at 3.5. I mean, like, fuck, dude, betting Buddy Hield for 4 3-pointers. What was he at Oklahoma again? God damn. Then Jordan Hawkins' 3-pointer lines at 2.5 tonight. It's just like, what is he at? Fucking UConn again? And UConn's on the national championship run. Like, god damn, dude, I get he's the 6-man, but a lot of these player props I feel like have gotten steamed in this one. So they've definitely gotten adjusted for. The value will probably be on tomorrow's game for this game. Unfortunately,
I agree with you, Brizzy, or live betting, halftime betting. But to start the game, I'm very confused. It has moved as of right now, 1 point in Golden State's favor. It's now down to 1.5, which is not a, we'll see. Again, we'll see where it closes. Robert Franklin liking the under. Justin McElvey liking the Warriors team total under, which makes some sense to me. But again, I'm just gonna pass. A bunch of props here. Go ahead.
Buddy Hield. He says Buddy Hield's coming off a 1-for-9 game from 3-point line. Over 2.5 is definitely going to be on my card. Yeah, that line. I looked at that was the first thing I looked at too, and the line was at 3.5 on. Let me look at it right now. The line was at 3.5, and I was like, God damn, man, 3.5 threes is a lot, bro. Like that's like a Klay Thompson line for the Warriors. He played for them. Like 3.5 threes is like. At that point, I might just bet Buddy Hield's point prop. Like, I'm seeing all these books: 3.5 FanDuel, 3.5 Bet Rivers, and 3.5 at Parks, all minus 120s. So if you can get 2.5, I'd bet the shit out of that.
Wow. Yeah. And Sweaty Butcher points out Warriors also in that home dog off a loft spot. That's 8-3. He likes Utah better, though. All right, let's review Billy Brisbane. I've just got 2 official plays I'm going to give. Utah first half, plus 3.5, minus 108. And the Nets game first half, under 113.5, minus 105. Brizzy, please review all the official plays you have, all the things you're liking that you bet.
Yeah, just to review like each game, I lean towards the Dallas team total under and Minnesota on the spread. Official was Christian Braun over 15.5 points, rebounds, and assists at ESPN bet. That line's going to get bumped by this afternoon. That line's incorrect. That's a bad line. They put that line up before that game ended in overtime last night, and he's 3rd on the team in fucking points and 4th on the team in rebounds, and is the youngest player on the team playing for a team with all veterans on a second night of a back-to-back. That line is going to get bumped to 19.5 to 20. It's a bad line. Sacramento Kings, Utah Jazz over 234.5 at FanDuel Sportsbook. I think Utah wins the game outright, but I mean, that was one of the most gruesome injuries in NBA history last night with Taylor Hendricks breaking his leg. I think Utah's going to come out inspired tonight, and there's going to be a strong offensive performance. Sacramento's been scoring a lot this year as well. They're on a second half of the back-to-back in altitude. That's a great spot. And then I would not bet the Pelicans Warriors game.
Yeah, and I will emphasize that if somehow Utah is down at the half or early, I agree with you. I'd be looking hard at a live bet on them. Billy Brisbane, what another great segment. So much fun to do these with you every friggin' Tuesday. We'll talk to you again next week, Brizzy. Have a great week.
Hell yeah.
Hell yes. All right. There we go. We're keeping a brisk pace. I like it. Next up, we're going to do some college football with Dabby Cab. There he is. There he is. Wow. Jose Bouquett just clicking through shit. Click, 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 click. All right.
Buttons press them, right?
Dabby Cab. How you doing? Of course, last week, Dabby Cab couldn't make it. We were going to talk about the Texas A&M game, but that was one of the few college football segments where I didn't even need to hear what Dabby Cab had to say. I knew what he was going to say. I agreed with it myself. I bet it. And, of course, Texas A&M did win.
Beautiful. Man, it was a good game. Marcel Reed coming in that second half.
Yes.
Just a
smart.
I've been asking for Marcel Reed, and then Wigman came out in that game against Missouri, and he played so good that it's like, how do you keep asking for him? But I'm glad Marcel Reed got back in. He's a winner. You can see it.
Yeah.
It's facial. It's facial. You can see it. Like, he's dialed in, whereas Wigman looks like he's scared. The moment's too big for him.
And he's also a mobile quarterback, whereas which for teams that are susceptible to that, it's great and smart to put him in. I actually didn't even officially know that you were on Texas A&M until you just confirmed it for me, Dabby. But I knew. And we'll talk about the Texas A&M game in a bit. I actually did cash with the first half under on that one, but I also had the full game under, which lost, which is very interesting. But we'll talk about the Texas A&M game in a second. Let's quickly glance at the comment section, then we'll get into the 3 Tuesday games tonight to see if anyone has anything. The Sweaty Butcher says, great job on NBA, you guys. No, Sweaty Butcher, great job on NBA stats from you, Sweaty Butcher. Thank you so much for all that. That's what makes these friggin' shows so great. All right. Okay. First game we got 3 kind of wacky Conference USA games tonight. New Mexico State going up against FIU. New Mexico State off a bye, kind of a bad team, but they are off of, a nice OT home win. So maybe they're turning a little bit of a corner at this point in the season. Not necessarily that they're going to be world beaters, but that you might want to look to bet on them when they're a dog against a vulnerable team, which is what FIU is right now, right? FIU's having, quarterback issues. Keon Jenkins isn't really doing that well. He got pulled last game. And New Mexico State, once again, getting a whole bunch of points off a bye, against a team with some issues on the road. I haven't bet it yet, but I'm definitely leaning New Mexico State first half and full game. What do you think?
Yeah, I won't be too long because, this isn't a game that I bet, but I would go New Mexico State. I mean, what has FIU done to earn a 10.5-point spread? Both of these teams have only won 1 game in conference. They both beat Louisiana Tech. I mean, you don't got very good. You don't have great quarterback play on either side of these teams. I guess if you go by the numbers, I guess FIU is a slightly better team. But I'm gonna say it again. What the hell have they done to deserve a 10.5-point spread?
Yeah. Well, I think if you look at some of the analytics overall, they're significantly better, except New Mexico State has been better recently. Jenkins is injured also. He had a shoulder injury against UTEP, and that was limiting him in the last game. And it's just, we don't actually know who's going to be starting or playing the majority of snaps. It could be that other guy, Perry. It's but they also have their defense is vulnerable against the run, which is what New Mexico State does. This might be just like super obvious, and I'm overthinking it too much.
Again, this is one, I look at both these teams. Pete, I've told you this before. I like to bet what I've seen. And the honest answer is I've never watched FIU or New Mexico State play one down this season. I just haven't. So it would all be me looking at the analytics. That's all this would be. And analytically, if I had to make a bet, I'd take the points here. But I'm not going to bet on this.
All right. I am going to make an official. I'm going to take once again New Mexico State. In that last game, I took them. I bet them first half and full game. Officially, I only gave it first half. And I'm going to buy all the way up to 7 at, I'll see the best line I can get. I'll take minus 161, getting 7 points. FIU having some serious issues offensively right now. It could get fixed if Perry comes in, but again, it's just not looking very inspiring for them. Let's look at what the comment section has to say, and then we'll move on. Let's see if anyone has anything to say here. And Matty Guys, so Nunez, anytime touchdown on my card. Nunez is the quarterback for New Mexico State, and he's one of the big reasons why they've had a recent turnaround. He's playing great, right? Getting touchdowns, absolutely, Matty Guys. And there you go, Matty Guys, play of the day, New Mexico State plus 9.5. Yeah, it is down to 9 now. I'm going to be on them full, and certainly if they're down at the half, I'll be looking hard at taking them in the second half. Robert Franklin likes New Mexico State plus 9 or 9.5. And I'll take New Mexico State first. And then Nutflush 16 says, Pete, take a look at team total over for New Mexico State as well. Yeah, again, this guy Brandon Nunez is it's a low total, which is understandable considering the full season numbers for these two teams. But New Mexico State team total over might be worth a shot as well. All right, next game on the card, Dabby Cab, Louisiana against Texas State. Two top teams in the Sun Belt West. And Texas State, a small favorite here, relatively high total, which makes sense. This game kind of has over and back and forth written all over it. So, the kind of obvious first glance plays here would be Louisiana plus the points, just because it's going to be close and back and forth, and a lean to the over at anything under 60, which we are looking at right now. Louisiana's off a good win at CCU. Texas State they've been good all year, but they are off a loss at Old Dominion as a double-digit road favorite. Old Dominion is also improving, and both of these teams have competent offenses that should be able to put up yards and points here. And I haven't bet it yet. My leans, again, over and Louisiana at anything more than 3.
I tell you what, this is a much better game here. And I have watched Texas State this year. And I've watched ULL. I've watched ULL once also. This is going to be a close game. I agree with you. Maybe the total, because I feel like it's going to go back and forth, like you said. But I'm really tempted to take the points here with ULL. I mean, I'm a fan of Wooldridge, if I said that correctly. Wooldridge, 15 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Whereas you look at the other side, McLeod, for Texas State, it seems like he's kind of pumped the brakes a little bit. 8 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. In his last few games, he's had 8 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, whereas at the start of the season, just touchdown, basically not throwing interceptions. And lately, he's kind of hit that wall in these last few games with a couple extra interceptions. Texas State really fumbled the ball against ODU, pun intended, right? That was a terrible game by them. Whereas ULL is just completely trending in the right direction. This is going to be a tough game on the road. But I like the Cajuns, man. Honestly, Pete, I might bet them here. They've got the better defense too, and that's that. We talk about a game going back and forth. If a game's going to go back and forth, it comes down to who can get a couple stops, right? I trust the Raging Cajuns to get a couple stops here. They're allowing 20.3 points per game in their last 3 games. Just a little bit, again, back to metrics and analytics, just a little bit better than the Bobcats defense here. But I like ULL here. I have not made it official. I might, and if I do, I'll post it, and I'll tag you too, Pete, if I do.
Okay, yeah, my only concern, I have 2 concerns here, which are real. The first one is just, as we talked about before, matchups in general. Texas State's defense has, I actually think Texas State's defense might be better here than Louisiana, because they've struggled against more against dual threat quarterbacks like the Sam Houston guy, we'll talk about next. Old Dominion had a dual threat quarterback, and that's part of the reason why they had so much success on him. And the Louisiana quarterback. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I kind of cheated. I used a smaller, when I compared the defenses, I used a smaller sample size, not the whole season. So yeah, there's definitely an outlier there. So I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, I would rate them. And then, Louisiana's quarterback is definitely more of a pass first guy. And then, of course, again, you've got Texas State off of a kind of embarrassing loss and Louisiana off of a good win. So yeah, all things being equal, I'd be leaning Louisiana. But with those 2 factors, I'm actually thinking maybe Texas State. Definitely over, maybe like the Texas State team total over. There you go. Texas State team total over. What about that, Tabby Cab?
Yeah, I don't hate that. Like I said, I think this is going to be back and forth. This game will come down to who can get a couple stops here. What's keeping me off ULL is I had a bet on them. It was a first half bet, Pete, and they were on the 1 yard line with 3 plays left before half, and all I needed was that touchdown, and they did not get in the end zone. So they were on the damn 1 yard line, and that touchdown would have cashed my bet. So they burned me so bad. But yeah, I would maybe consider taking the Cajuns first half, but as a full game play, I don't hate that Texas State team total.
I'm gonna write some song lyrics based on what you just said, Dabby Cap. All they needed was that touchdown. We're gonna write a song. I'm gonna go back in video and re-listen to what you said and fashion together a song about that. Yeah, I hear you, Dabby Cap. All right, let's see what the comment section is saying. Woolridge, Wager Detective says Woolridge is nice. He is, but he's a pass first guy, which sort of plays into the strengths of the Texas State defense. He's still very good though. Yeah, and Justin McElvey likes the Louisiana team total over. Texas State team total over is 30.5, which is a little high. I think they should. Jim Dewigger likes Louisiana money line. All right, I'll pass on it for now. Leaning Texas State team total over. We'll see. Next game on the card, Louisiana Tech and Sam Houston. Louisiana Tech, not an inspiring team, right? They are 1-4 ATS in their last 5. Last week, I did have them against UTEP. I thought that was a good spot for them, and they didn't cover. I think they should have. Sam Houston off a low-scoring win against FIU. And the key here, I think, is just that Hunter Watson, Sam Houston's dual-threat quarterback. Is he injured? Is he going to go? The replacement is pretty clearly a downgrade. And if Hunter Watson is 100%, I'd be strongly leaning towards betting Sam Houston at 9.5 or anything better. If he's not, I guess I would pass. It's a very low total, which is understandable. Again, if Hunter Watson's out, leaning under. If he's in, maybe over, maybe the Sam Houston team total over. Both these offenses, Louisiana Tech, they like to pass, but they've been bad at it. So it's interesting that you have a pass-heavy offense with a very low total here. Leaning Sam Houston, but I don't think I can pull the trigger on it just because of the uncertainty with Hunter Watson's health. What do you think, Dabby Cab?
And like I said, transparency. These two teams. I've watched Sam Houston for maybe 20 minutes this year, but I haven't really watched. I haven't really watched La Tech. And I'll say this: like, under would be my knee-jerk reaction because the only reason I would worry about Sam Houston is because this is one of those games where they're clearly the better team, right? And they're at home. And I would hate for that backdoor cover with La Tech. That's what would scare me is that pointless field goal or that pointless touchdown, that backdoor covers. I really think the under might be the play here because that would fit that same mold where if Sam Houston gets ahead, they just kind of, kill this game at home, eat the clock a little bit. So I'd probably lean under here because I don't see either of these teams getting into the 30s, right? I think maybe like a 24 to 14 game. I mean, and then or maybe like a 28 to 14 game. Like I really do think this game goes under. I think Sam Houston's the side if I had to choose, Pete, but this game's not something I'll be betting.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, at first glance, the under makes a lot of sense. It's just that, like, if Louisiana Tech improves a little bit with their passing game, not to become a formidable passing team, but if they improve a little bit, and then Sam Houston is having success with their running, it could easily get over just such a low total. So I don't think I can take it. Yeah, my lean is definitely to Sam, and now it's up. Wow, it's up to 10 and juiced a little bit. That tells me that
the quarterback. That's you touched on it though. Watson, is he playing? Is he not? If he's playing, then Sam. If he's playing, this might keep going up even higher.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I would love to take maybe a shot with Sam Houston, like first half -6 or something like that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I like that actually. That's Cabby thinking right there. Let's go ahead and get it under a touchdown. We'll take the first half if we got to.
Because especially if he's and especially if maybe he's like a little bit banged up and he starts out okay. I mean, they really need him to be good. You know what I mean? I think it's his last 2 games where he was out, and that was not good. They got blown out at home and then struggled against FIU. But before that, they were steamrolling people.
Yeah, 14 and 10 points. Yeah, so there's another thing for that under too. If he's not playing, then I really like the under. If he is playing, maybe not so much because, like you just said, the last 2 games, 14 against Western Kentucky and only 10 points against FIU.
All right, we're talking it out. That's what we do here, and I will make that an official play, Dabby Cab.
Oh yeah,
Sam Houston. First half, -6, -110. That's at a bunch of places. Don't have to name a book. That's a market line there. Sam Houston, first half, -6, -110. If I get burned, okay. Let's see what the comments section has to say. Robert Franklin likes the under. Hugh Janus says Watson plays, Sam Houston covers, especially when Tech won't be able to pass on Sam Houston. Yeah, I agree. It's all about Watson. The line is saying that he's definitely playing. How healthy he'll be, how long he'll play, not exactly clear, but I will take that. Sam Houston, first half -6, -110 is an official play. Thank you so much, Huge Anus, for that comment, fortifying what I was thinking as well. All right, that does it for the Conference USA games. Now let's get into the 2 games that Dabby Cab chose. The first one, of course, Texas A&M. Now last week, great. I had Texas A&M, didn't even need to hear Dabby break it down. I already knew he was on it. I agreed with it. They popped LSU. Awesome game by Texas A&M. Now they're going on the road, though, against South Carolina, who is off a bye. Of course, as we talked about, Texas A&M, extremely well-coached team. Mike Elko, he's a a coach who in general I expected his teams to improve in both in games and in seasons. And that's what happened, last game against Kelly. He switched in Marcel Reed, and that really made a difference. So which quarterback is going to play more here? I think if they're smart, they'll play Reed, because South Carolina, a very strong pass rush, and you don't want a pocket quarterback because it's vulnerable to that. Reed will probably be a better matchup for Texas A&M. South Carolina, a very strong team. The line has gotten bet in their favor. It opened above a field goal. I think it opened at 4.5. Now it's down to like 2 or 2.5. South Carolina off a bye. In general, they've been very good ATS this year. Their 4 of their last 5 covers were by huge margins. Man, I'm leaning under, but it's a super low total at 45. And as far as the side is concerned, I really don't even know, Dabby Cap. I'm sure you got something. What do you like here, Dabby?
Well, let's start it like this, right? Obviously, people are gonna look at this as a letdown spot for A&M after the big win against LSU, right? Big wins against LSU. Also, we're gonna look at this as a spot where South Carolina's had an extra week of preparation. Well, let's go ahead and put a little asterisk by that extra week of preparation, because if they were preparing for Connor Wigman, well, then they saw Reed come in on Saturday and they said, okay, well, this week we got to change what we're doing, right? Because now we're prepping for a different quarterback. I think Reed should be the guy. If Reed's not going to be that guy, I'm going to throw a fit. I mean, I was standing up, texting everybody I could, yelling, put Reed in the damn game. Put him in the game. Like, it was over. If you go to my Twitter, I put a tweet out there. I was like, Wigman's pissing down his leg. You can see it all over his face. If we don't put in Reed, we're going to lose. And then Reed comes in, got 4 touchdowns and 1 field goal in the 5 offense possessions that A&M had with them. This is tough. South Carolina, for those who don't know, is a very, very electric environment. This game's going to be at 6:30 at night, so it's going to be under the lights. The fans are going to be completely turned. It's going to be great. It's going to be a great environment. And South Carolina's defense is no joke. You touched on it. Their edge rushers are something else. I mean, South Carolina is going to be coming. They're going to have their ears pinned back. So all that being said, I get it for South Carolina. And there are a lot of people who I respect that have already messaged me and told me that they're on South Carolina. They hit it when it was 3.5, so they got an even better line. So shout out to them. I just don't see it. I don't think Elko and this culture that he is putting in this team looks past South Carolina here. You have to understand that this is the biggest game of the season now. Not LSU. This is the biggest game of the season, because right now A&M is the only undefeated team in the SEC. If they win this game, Pete, they have Auburn and Texas left, right? I'm not saying, you plan to drop the game against Texas, but if you beat South Carolina and you beat Auburn, you don't want to, but you can lose that game against Texas, and you're still sitting right there at 7-1 in the SEC, probably going to be in that 12-team playoff picture. Okay, there are huge ramifications in this game. And I think Mike Elko, from everything that I've learned watching him behind the scenes, shout out to The Pulse. It's a show at A&M where if you want to get like behind the scenes in-depth analysis, they do it. This team's going to be ready. They're going to be ready for this football game. They're not going to overlook South Carolina one bit. I think Reed will be the guy, and I think there's going to be more momentum building from it, okay? We saw it when Reed came in. The players got behind Reed. The fans got behind Reed. When your quarterback is confident, it changes everything in the football game. Wigman had no confidence whatsoever. He looked like a scared puppy that wanted to shit. Like, that's what he looked like the whole game. And then you get Reed in, and everybody's face turns to, okay, let's do this. It's game time. It's go time. Well, this should be the game where he gets his first legit start. And let me clarify what I mean by that. He's not going to get the ball because Wigman's injured. He's going to get the ball because he earned his starting position, okay? I know he started games this season. Those are different. This is going to be the first game where the team says, okay, Reed, you're our guy. Let's go get it. And I think there's momentum behind that. I think Elko has the team ready to play. And I think 2.5 is a fucking joke, if I'm being completely honest. A&M wins this game by 14 points.
Ooh, now there's a prediction and a half from Dabby Cap. A&M wins this by 2 touchdowns on the road against a team with a strong home advantage, a vicious defensive line rush. Wow, I'm looking at the comments here. Wager Detective, I trust A&M with everything on the line. A&M won't drop the ball. My shoes is so nice, like A&M. If it goes to overtime, I take A&M 100 out of 100 times. My dude with a great comment. A&M wins this game. Jeez. All right. The wager detective freshman on road QB. I'm going to pass on this one, Dabby Cab. I can't take an under at that low of a line. I might do a live bet. It'll be very interesting to see what happens here. And if they win by 14, Dabby Cab, oh my God. How much props will you get for that?
So I want to just say this too, because I didn't talk a lot about the defense. A&M hasn't allowed more than 24 points in a football game all year.
Yeah.
All year. And this ain't going to be the first one here. It ain't going to be South Carolina. I'm just going to say that right now. So do I think Reed and the offense is going to struggle a little bit against South Carolina? Sure. But the more times that they send those edges and the more times Reed gets to run that little Reed play that he's going to run with Le'Veon Moss in the back, there will be big plays. Okay. You send those big guys up front, sooner or later that Reed's going to bust through and you're going to get, and the Reed by Reed is going to bust through and you're going to get big plays. I can already see it happening right now.
Gosh, I would love to take the first half under, but I just can't, or the full game under. It's just like you said, fluky things, big plays here and there. All right. I'm going to pass, but Dabby Cab clearly really liking Texas A&M. And a lot of people and Wager Detective liking the under. I feel you. I mean, that's what I was thinking and leaning towards, but now it's down to 44.5. That's such a low friggin' total. the Nutflesh 16 says Dabby sounds like waffle. South Carolina team total under. What do you think about that? South Carolina team total under.
I don't know what their team total under is, but
low.
Okay, yeah.
Like 20 and a half. You can probably find 21.
So, yeah. So that's what I'm going to say is, too. So my dude, shout out to my dude in the chat. He's dropping South Carolina has one great thing at offense is their running backs. They ain't going to run the ball against A&M, right? Now, they'll probably do a better job than LSU because LSU, they threw the ball 50 times in that game. Nussmeier dropped back 50 times in that game. But, yeah, they're not going to – running the ball is not going to be what South Carolina is going to do this game. They're going to have to find a way to throw it.
Okay. That's it for this game, Dabby Cab. It's a pass for me, but I can't wait to see how this game turns out. Next game on the card, USC Washington. You chose this one. USC one extra rest day, pounded Rutgers at home last week, but Rutgers is ass. USC's had 3 road games have not gone well. They actually lost all of them straight up as a favorite, but they had kind of big travel. They had to travel a lot of miles for those games. This one is less of a travel burden on them. Washington, off of 2 road losses, both as small dogs. And USC, a talented team. They get out to leads and then they blow them. Long travel like screws them up as a road favorite. I don't know what I think about that. I don't trust USC in general. Probably trust them to head into the half with a lead, though. If you gave me a free play right now before I hear what you have to say about it, I'd probably throw it on like USC first half money line. What do you think, Dabby?
Yeah, I think this is a great spot for USC. I agree with you here. And you talked about that, awful Rutgers team that they beat 42-20. Well, Washington dropped the game against Rutgers 18-21 against that same Rutgers team. Washington, for those who don't know, who haven't been paying attention, they got Will Rogers, the guy from Mississippi State. I was kind of high on Rogers at Mississippi State 2 years ago. Then last year I kind of sold out on him. And this year, it's the same thing. The dude can't move at all. Go look at his overall rushing stats every year. And I understand that in college, if you get sacked, it goes against you. But there's a negative sign behind his yearly rushing yards at every single time he's played in college. Not something I want. I want my quarterback to be able to move at least a little bit, right? At least a little bit. And that's something Rogers can't do. And at Mississippi State, he had the benefit of throwing a lot of the short passes and stuff. He's still going to be doing that here at Washington. But this is just a spot where I think USC is, sitting at 2.5. I like Moss, their quarterback. I like Marks, the running back. He showed out against Rutgers. USC still has the Lincoln Riley offense. They still have the ability to go out there and put up 40, 50 points. They have that ability. And I think they show it here. I don't think Lincoln Riley's job is in jeopardy. Shout out to Wine Time. He touched on this a little bit. Just because there's too much money behind him. It's kind of like Jimbo Fisher at A&M. They can't get rid of him yet. You got to give him a little bit of chance to work through it. But I also think that conversation is on the horizon if they don't start winning football games, right? And this is a game where you've got to go on the road, Both of these teams are having down seasons. USC has to win this football game. Lincoln Riley has to win this football game. And I like USC here, so I took them -2.5. I just took it full game, but I like first half also, Pete. Heck, I probably might like first half better if I'm being honest, because I don't trust USC to close football games out.
Right.
I saw what they did against Penn State.
All right, well, I'll start this officially. USC first half money line -126 at a big book that I look at. Action Jackson's leading Washington, and look at this nut flush 16. That beat the word at USC is he has been told you need to put up as much as possible. So I guess he's hinting at like USC team total over. Is that what nut flush?
Yeah, I think this is a great spot to bet USC here. I really do. I love both of the bets that I made this week that I brought here to the show. And just so everybody knows, I know I have lower volume, but I'm well over 60% on the full season for college football bets on my own. And then with you and Jimmy and on these shows, we're right at 60%. So
hell yeah, Dabby Cab. Seems like Nut Flush Allen implying that maybe a USC team total over is in play. Action Jackson leaning Washington. Yeah, I mean, I don't trust USC as a road favorite against anyone, really. Absolutely, Action Jackson. I'm just taking them first half money line. Wine Time Sports, USC definitely going to try to fight for wins. Nut Flush 16, wow. So then Wine Time says Washington just so undisciplined. All right, I like it. I wasn't sure what to make of this game. Now I'm really liking my USC first half pick, and I'm going to definitely bet it. Dabby Cab. All right, so college football. Let me just review quickly my official plays. New Mexico State first half +7 -161. Sam Houston first half -6 -110, and USC first half money line -126. That's probably my favorite play of the three as of right now. Dabby Cab, please review your official plays and tell us whatever else you want to share with us about what you're doing this week.
Got you, Pete. I got A&M -2.5 -109, and then I got USC -2.5 -108. It's -110 now, so you can just go ahead and add those 2 cents for me. Both of those are at books that you guys here can get, legal books. Shout out to the new friends at Pub Sports Radio. And that's about it, Pete. I'll be back here on Thursday and Friday with Jimmy. Be here Saturday on the tailgate. Just getting paid, man. I love coming up here and talking with you, Pete. I miss
so much fun.
I hope we continue it into college basketball.
Absolutely. What a fun segment. Dabby, look at my jacket. Don't I look like a sleazy, dishonest, but still fun person?
If you look like a fly ass dude that would be at an A&M. That maroon, maroon, you'd fit right in College Station, man.
And I also look like kind of like scammy and dishonest too, which is cool. You know, it's easy to be scammy and dishonest. It's not easy to look scammy and dishonest.
You look like somebody who I want to scam me, right? I want to let you get over on me. That's what it feels like.
And that's the whole. You just hit it there, Dabby Cab. The key to scamming people is not to be like super smart and super slick. The key is to find them and make them want to be scammed by you.
You're right.
I'm not giving anyone advice. I'm just making an observation about life that is pretty funny and chilling and sobering. Dabby Cab, another great friggin' Tuesday with you. We'll do it again next Tuesday. Thanks so much for coming on.
Hell yeah, Pete. Love you guys. Love the chat. See y'all next Tuesday.
Hell yeah. And there you go. JP saying I look like a porn director. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. No, I would love to direct a porn. Yeah, I would love to direct a porn. You know? Let me see a little reverse cowgirl, baby. Reverse cowgirl. Yeah. Yeah. Put the finger in the butt. Yeah. 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 It's great. We're getting great content here. All right. And next we got hey, Jose Bouquett, you want to pop in for a sec?
Hello there. Yes.
Jose Bouquett is just like, I just want to click and go. I hear you. You're tired. You're worn down, Jose.
No, I know how you operate, Pete. You're gonna ask me if they're on, and then I have to tell you yes. But I'd rather just put them on. They're right. They're here. Throw them in the fire.
Oh man, it's a great show. Once again, I think this show is a little bit better, even better than usual. I think the picks will be good too. And now, I don't know what we're gonna get now. Game 4 of the World. If there's anyone who can tell us what to do with this Game 4 of the World Series, it is the guy we're welcoming to the show right now. Please, everyone, welcome Sharp A, Sharp A, Sharp A, Sharp A, Sharp A. All right, Sharpie, I'm just going to quickly set the table. I have no clue what to make of this game.
Before you set the table, I heard that Taylor Mathis is looking to make some money, and maybe you can direct that porn because she scammed a bunch of people. Speaking of scams, key to scams is to have yoppers, bro. You got some big yoppers, you forget about shit.
Yep.
Exactly. I'll definitely work with her. We'll be a fucking scamming duo, scamming team, giving out picks, giving out both sides of games. People complain about it. Be like, you just be lucky there are 3 sides to the game or 4 sides. In soccer, we'll give out the draw. We'll give out both sides and the draw. Sell that shit. Hell yeah. Me and Taylor would love to do it. All right, Dabby Cab. This game, even if I were a scammer, I don't even think there's anything I could say that I could make credible for this game. Game 4, Dodgers up 3-0. They're murking them. I saw an incredible stat, which you probably saw too, Sharpie. Where is that stat? In the World Series, I don't even know if it's true. I didn't check it. I just believed it. But there have been 24 World Series where a team won the first 3 games, and they won the 4th game in 21 of those World Series. Have you heard that stat? Is that possibly true?
There's never been a Game 6. When a
Is
team
that
has
true?
gone down 3-0, yeah. There's never been even a Game 6. So to win 2 in a row has never happened.
See, that doesn't make sense because by definition, if that happens, you're playing another team that made the World Series. I mean, if it was just a random 4-game series in the regular season, I wouldn't expect the numbers to be that high. But that stat blew my mind when I saw it. I'd never heard it before in my life. And now you got the Dodgers as a dog in that situation. And on the mound for the Yankees is Heel, who's, hasn't been that great over the past month or so. I'm totally confused, Sharpie. Are you betting this game?
As of right now, I don't. The lean right now, and I'm probably going to get there, and I'll probably only put like a half unit because I don't like the umpire, is Hill's strikeouts under. This guy is 3.5% worse than league average when it comes to chase. And we know about these Dodgers by now, guys. They don't fucking chase at all. They're very patient. They're going to walk. If you go by the metrics, one guy is league average, 8 or above league average. I expect a quick hook. We talked about it on game 1 when I was on here about the manager freaking difference. Aaron Boone, 3 different times in game 1 showed how he's not ready for these type of situations, as didn't let Garrett Cole hum at 88 pitches. He's your fucking ace. He's up in the game. Weaver didn't come back out to pitch the 9th. What the fuck were you doing there? Let's put Cousins in, a guy who's never closed a game in his life, to close out a World Series game. And we've asked our closer to go 2 innings how many times? Like, Weaver's gone 2 innings almost every time they've needed him to. So let's put Nestor fucking Cortez in, as we got Hill, our lefty specialist, warmed up. And when they lost that game, I said, they're getting swept. I said, it's a gentleman's sweep. I says, that just sucked the life out of them. And then every morning on Twitter, when I scrolled through fans, and 6, 7, 8 people, Yankee fans, just dumbfounded. They were shocked that their live game experiences were just like this when Freddie Freeman hit the home run. They didn't know what to do. And if that was the fans, what was the clubhouse? And it's shown. And at the end of the day, if it's not today, it's tomorrow. This is the game they should win. If you like the Yankees, get in now, because I expect Ohtani to be benched today. I expect a rest day coming for him. We're up 3-0. They did it to Freeman when we were 2-1 on a 3-game when he was hurting. So I do expect it being a 3-game with Ohtani wincing in a couple swings last night. I don't expect Ohtani to be in the lineup today. If he is right now, I mean, he's playing just as bad as Aaron Judge. Everyone's talking about how bad Aaron Judge is playing, 1 for 11. Ohtani's 1 for fucking 10, guys. It's the rest of the fucking team, and the Dodgers are a legit team. The Yankees are not. They're living by Stanton and Soto, and that's it. Now, did Verdugo get going last night? Listening to some freaking talk shows this morning, I laughed. I'm like, they're like, oh, he got the Kopech, the Dodgers closer. I'm like, no, Trinan's our closer, and he started fucking warming up. There were multiple guys that didn't go into the game yesterday that were saved for today. I expect the Dodgers to go with like Brazier, a righty or somebody to open, and then to go to Kanak. With how many lefties they have in that lineup, I expect Kanak to come in second. Not saying he's going to do good or well, but 4 lefties at the back end of that lineup, I expect him to come in for at least 1 or 2 innings. And I'm not going to lie, I expect Dave Roberts to go for the kill. I expect to go for his big guns early. And he said when they've done now 3 bullpen games, the time they lost, he let Canuck go too long. And he adjusted and went to his hogs in the 4th and 5th. He went for the fucking nail in the coffins early and still saved some back end. So there's multiple guys on the Dodgers who have saved in big time situations. It's over, guys. It's just I can't bet Gil. If anything, I'm going to bet his strikeouts under. That's the way I'm leaning. But the umpire is Bill Miller-esque. He does have he's a very high pitcher's umpire. So that is something that can get the Dodgers to get out of their non-chase, is if they're getting calls that they don't like, they're going to start chasing. It's baseball. So yeah, I better coach, better manager, everything I've already talked about, guys. If anything, they had the better starting pitching, and they don't even got that this series. So it's over today or tomorrow. So I don't know how invested I'm going to get into today, but yeah, it's done.
Sharpie, you are as much of you are as knowledgeable about behind the scenes shenanigans in baseball as anyone I know. You think it's possible that the home plate ump will get the call and be like, "Listen, let's get another game out of this. Let the Dodgers win it at home. We get another game of revenue. Let them win it in 5."
You ready for this shit, bro? Bet Dodgers to win Venezuela's that's fucking Fernando Venezuela's birthday. Game 6.
No shit.
At Dodger Stadium. Just fucking saying, if you were to script it, that's the way it's being scripted.
You think anyone's going to let the Yankees get swept at home?
I think the Dodgers, man, I was telling Jimmy on stream last night. Dodgers up 2-0, that was a bigger game for the Dodgers than it was for the Yankees. And the way I want to explain that is we have a bullpen game going today, so it's going to put it at 2-2 if we didn't win. Garrett Cole going versus Jack Flaherty on regular rest. He's been terrible all year on regular rest, and he's got a hamstring problem. I talked about it on game 1 when we were going to back him because I figured out like him on long rest was great. Him on short rest was terrible. Then he hurt his hamstring. I also talked about how Flaherty needs his athleticism. You got a hurt hamstring? You're not going to be able to fucking pitch, bro. So really, we're heading into Yamamoto has to fucking win. And that's it was a little scarier going into last night than I feel today. I was not comfortable 2-0. Now 3-0, I feel a little better because nobody's came back after that. So I do feel better.
Action Jackson says Yankees are not getting swept, all in caps. Andrew G says MLB needs the Yanks to extend. They will not let their fans go to bed crying. And another couple of World Series games of ad revenue couldn't hurt. Jose Bouquett, are you going to bet this game, Jose Bouquett?
Yeah, I am. I've on the last time we were all on this program, I said the Dodgers are going to whoop this ass. I said Dodgers in 5 games. You know, I thought the first game would be the one the Yankees would get. They lose it in, to me, hilarious fashion. So this is done. Like Sharpie said, this is cooked. The Yankees are a fraudulent team, like we all know. They have one good pitcher, and he's not built for these moments anymore. And Giancarlo Stanton is their best hitter, along with Juan Soto, obviously. And that's it. So, yeah, I'm right there with you. Obviously, it's a bullpen day, and that's a little scary. So I was considering just taking team totals for the Dodgers here. Like you could get a 1.5 first 5 team total over for minus 135. I like that. And you know, do I love taking the juice? Not really. But I'll probably just end up taking Dodgers money line and a team total over 1.5 here. I said because Jimmy obviously was considering. I don't know if he ended up taking the Yankees for the series, but I just laid it out. I was like, I just don't trust Walker, or I don't trust Clark Schmidt, a younger pitcher, against Walker Buehler, who's been in the postseason before plenty of times, been in the World Series plenty of times already. Now we're getting a rookie in the postseason here in a World Series spot. I mean, just like.
Third time that guy's pitched a game 3 in a World Series and has been dominant.
Yeah,
Fuck, man.
He's built for these moments. And I knew Clark Schmidt first time here, he might be shitting his left pants a little bit. And I think Luis Hill, maybe, obviously he's Hispanic, so we know how that goes. But he might be shitting his pants a little bit. Who knows? It's just scary to bet bullpen days. And I do think we'll see some Landon Knack and the whole gang. But yeah, Dodgers money line for me, and Dodgers first 5 team total over 1.5 minus 135.
Yeah, I say this with a grain of salt because martingailing is not something you're supposed to ever do, and you also should not do it. But it does feel like martingailing the Dodgers to win the series now. Just is something that would have some value.
Roll it over. If you lose today, roll over your bet and bet it to the next game, and
maybe if it gets to a game 7, you bail. But in which case you're eating.
I'm probably gonna throw $10 on the Venezuela on freaking Fernando Day, bro. On Dodgers to win in 6.
What day is that, Sharp? Because another nice thing, the parade could just be that day.
I mean, I did not think about that, bro. But I mean,
if it's like a Friday, I don't know. Like I don't know what day of the week it is, but yeah, it could be the parade day as well. That's what I'm hoping. Maybe the Yankees squeak this one out because I said Yankees in 5, but I think they're fucked.
November 1st, whatever day that falls on.
Oh,
JPG says he knew the Yankees were done when he saw Fat Joe come out. He was like, "What are you doing?"
Bro, what were the Yankees thinking, bro? Like, oh, we got to one-up Ice Cube after Ice Cube just had a legendary performance? Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
That's just the Yankees in a nutshell, bro.
And doing it down to nothing is disgusting, man. Just fucking win a baseball game before you send out Fat Joe to fucking go perform. Jesus Christ.
All right, well, if I martingale the Dodgers, I'm going to do it in private on my personal accounts, and whether it wins or loses, I'm not going to tell anyone about it because you should not martingale, but it's extreme. This is like the most tempting martingale scenario I've seen in a long, long, long-ass time.
It's going to be a fun game.
It's going to be a fun game. All right, Sharpie. Well, I guess we're not going to be doing any more MLB with you for a while now, Sharpie. That sucks.
Hey, game 6 is coming, bro. Game 6 is coming. Put it on your fucking docket, bro.
Is Game 6 next Tuesday?
I think it's Friday.
Friday, November 1st. And again, that's a great day for a parade, Sharpie. It's a fucking great day for a parade.
I don't know if they want that many Hispanics drinking in LA during the day on a Friday. But they say they might push it back to Saturday.
Fuck, that would be funny.
This segment is dedicated to Fernando Valenzuela, wherever you are. Oh man, he was so cool when he came out. Just such a cool. He was a cool pitcher, a cool talker, a cool looker. Off the mound and on the mound, just such a freaking cool
happening guy. Like Destiny type stuff, like the 2 minutes off of Freddie Freeman's home run to freaking Kirk Gibson's, going back freaking 30-something years ago. It was 2 minutes to the fucking day, bro.
Yeah, very nice.
Both to right field. Oh, like everything's just like it's destiny right now, bro. The Yankees.
I actually had a Fernando Valenzuela rookie card, which I don't think is worth that much, but I loved it at the time. It was one where they had the 3s on them, not just himself, future stars or whatever the hell it was. All right, Sharpie. Thanks so much. Great segment as always. We'll talk to you very soon.
Beautiful.
All right, Jose Bouquett. Very good show. Whole bunch of plays. Let me review my official plays in case anyone is.
And you look great, by the way. As people
thanks very much. Yeah, I look.
Very
sleazy and dishonest. Cool. Right. All right, so I'm taking Anaheim Islanders under 6.5 minus 150. Denver Nets first half under 113.5 minus 105. Utah Jazz first half plus 3.5 minus 108. New Mexico State first half plus 7 minus 161. Sam Houston, first half, -6, -110. And USC, first half, money line, -126. And as far as MLB is concerned, officially, complete pass.
Oh, that's funny. I'm officially, I'll just let everyone know, like I said, officially on Dodgers money line, +110 for me. And Dodgers first 5 team total over 1.5, -135. And I will mention, if you guys are looking for books, go scroll down into the description of this show. You'll see our link, and there will be promos for all the different books there. BetMGM. If you don't have an account there, go sign up. Help out the pub. We'd appreciate it very much. And let them know. Let the books know that we mean business.
We mean business. Wow, look at that. The Dodgers are up to like +130, +135 for tonight. Wow, I'll be interested to see where it closes. Once again, another friggin' great show. Jose Bouquett, thanks so much. Comment section, thank you so much. Sweaty Butcher, Nut Flush Allen, everyone, Justin McElvey, Mally Mal. We'll see y'all next Tuesday.